Right, okay, this is, as I said, a diary to myself, you could say, in case of, I think I've said this in the first episode, that literally I'm sort of finding things very difficult, even more so in the last year since COVID hits, but it's sort of, I find it very difficult to express myself, so I seem to be able to express myself if I do this and do things at the same time. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that to my advantage. This is... I've thought about this all day. I've not done this for a few weeks, but I know I need to do it. I know I need to sort of start up and get cracking with this type of thing. So I'm going to carry on doing Farming Simulator at the same time, but it's not about that. It really isn't. It's just about, this is a way I seem to be able to express myself at the same time as doing this. So let's have a look. Just no, it's precision farming I want. pH. I have done everything. Wasn't sure. Yeah, this is me musing, as I've said already. That's the idea, literally behind this entire process. So right, let's go and get the H2 Studios lorry. Let me make sure that I've reset my back to the store. Now then, this is the only thing I'm unsure of, whether the Mighty Fen GT will be okay with doing this particular thing rain later, so keep our eye on that. Yeah, I think last time I sort of spoke, I have said I'm a Christian and I don't regret saying that, but I think I was trying to get controversial, if I'm honest, whereas it's not really important about that. This is more about me expressing myself, and I had a couple of thoughts early today and that will expand upon what I mean by that. If you had the last year, in fact quite a few years, I have really not felt terribly well, and there have been some times recently in the past year, well, it's almost 2 years now that COVID's been around, but in the last year where I've felt really unwell. Sometimes in the middle of the night I feel like it could be the last night of me on earth, you know, like where you literally think, oh my life, I'm not sure I'm going to make it till morning. I know it sounds a bit morbid, but it's not. It's just more about being truthful. That is just the way I feel. I've felt where your heart's, I don't know, it could be panic attacks. I'm not saying it's anything. Oh wow, this road's terrible. It could be nothing more than that. But there's sometimes I feel so really unwell, and you think none of us ever really know. I've got to try and do something with this at some point. This is shocking. It's so uneven. Oh no, this is definitely a struggle for the fence. Definitely a struggle. This might be what makes me push into getting something a little bit bigger. It really was not designed to be tugging this massive trailer. So yeah, it's really wanting to fight. Let's go to the right. Yeah, okay, so that's definitely the next course of action, is definitely to be grabbing something a little heavier. I didn't think I'd last forever, but it was nice to make a start with the Fen GT. Yeah, and all of us need to express ourselves, and I seem to be better with expressing myself when I'm doing something else. So I'm using Farming Simulator as to do something whilst I release and express myself. Not the Farming Simulator itself isn't, but it does seem I've recently started to create content, and I do seem to be able to express myself through this medium, whereas I can't normally. So I'm going to literally crack on and do what? Right, let's see what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally get as much cash in this digestate and get the best laureate I possibly can. Yeah, so I thought about it earlier, and I thought about it a few times. What exactly I'm sort of trying to achieve by this, and I say I've not been back on this since the last time when I think I was getting a bit controversial. I mean, I do believe what I said. I don't go sort of back on what I was saying about tribes and colour of skin and division and all the rest of it. That is definitely true. I'm not arguing with that, but I think I was just trying to be controversial, and that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to express myself in a way, almost like as if I'm going to a psychologist to try and examine myself, and that is really what I am trying to do, to examine myself, and have a chat with God, you could say, as well at the same time. I know that will make me terribly unpopular at this time when people choose that they really choose not to want to, because I don't really believe that anybody with an open mind that looks around at the world can truly come. I agree with the Apostle Paul that in Romans 1:19-21 that you are inexcusable if you cannot see clearly from creation and through creation that there is no other explanation. That why is that not popping? That things were created, and we could get into an argument all day long, in fact probably for years and years, and there will be a division in the middle where people will agree and people will disagree. So truthfully we just have to agree to disagree on that point. I had a boss once that was an atheist, and we had many an argument, and he thought I was so stupid to believe what I did, and likewise I think that you're very brave to stand the side of what you believe in and stick by that, because I just can't understand why you can see what you can see when I look at creation and I see the numerical sequences to the way that leaves grow. The patterns in nature are so huge that behind every pattern there has to be a patterner. Someone has to make the pattern. If it was true chaos, as many people have a theory of the chaos theory and all the rest of it, then yeah, I understand what you're trying to say. Right, let's just quickly track test. Let's see what we can get for 70 odd grand. That's going to be, I don't want to go silly, and I could go for my old faithful. I love the Argotron, and it's not terribly expensive. Let's go for used second hand. We will make it into a beefy thing. We'll have both of those, and we will go for the max horsepower and front. No, we don't need front loader attach. We've already got the so 38,000. Oh. Now then, let's go to the shop. I will allow this. We can't tab. Oh, okay, so I can't even. Wow, I must have a mod active that stops you even teleporting. Wow, that was a mistake. I really didn't mean to do that. Okay, right, well anyway, we have now got a third tractor, and this one can tug things around like that, because to let the little Fendt GT, it never was. I mean, I have made these twice as strong. They're 90 horsepower, but even 90 horsepower, the mass of a Fendt GT, they are small. They're very small and light framed, so they've really not got the mass to be tugging massive trailers like that around, whereas the Argotron is a medium-sized tractor and it has got the mass to do that type of thing. So yeah, we'll stick to the way that things were designed for. We use the mighty Fendt GT to do many of the jobs that it is designed to do. We have sort of proved that this thing can punch well above its weight with what we've already achieved, but let's not try and stretch that beyond the realms of possibility. So, let's get back to my conversation. That's very important to me to express myself as a conversation with God. If this ever gets released, then it gets released. If it doesn't, then it's just my personal musings. But yeah, I thought about this. I love the film Blade Runner, but I'm not the entire film. There are certain poignant bits in the film Blade Runner. I found parts, I've got to be honest, I mean, I love Harrison Ford. He probably is my favourite actor. So really, and it's science fiction. I love science fiction. But Blade Runner itself, although the premise and the story was okay, I did find the original, perhaps it was at the age that I watched it, was a bit boring in places, but some of the premises and some of the bits were absolutely amazing. But one thing that always stuck in my mind that I've always found rather amazing is the cutscene where the AI, Rutger Hauer, played by Rutger Hauer, is dying. They all know they've got this hard-coded death, and it's imminent, and he's literally, his fingers and his arms are all beginning to fail, and he's knocking nails into his hands to keep them alive and things like that. Rather amazing. But there is a couple of scenes that always stick in my brain, and that is when he's dying, he's sort of toying with Harrison Ford, and he could literally kill him at any time. You know that. Harrison Ford knows that himself. He's trying to escape from him, and Rutger Hauer is toying with him and throwing him around, and there's a point where Harrison Ford is going to die, the character that he is playing in the film, The Blade Runner. He is going to die, and at that moment Rutger Hauer grabs him, and you don't know what he's going to do. And obviously neither does the Blade Runner know what he's going to do. He's totally unsure what he's going to do. But in that moment, it's obvious that that AI, that character, does show true humanity. And I mean that in the truest sense, because there are humans who are dead and there are humans who are alive. In that moment, that AI was self-aware, and aware in the purest of sense, because life, anybody's life, became more important than him. He knew, he was aware of his mortality, he knew he was going to die, and life, even Harrison Ford's or the Blade Runner's life, became more important than anything else. And it was a beautiful act from somebody who had tried to murder everybody in an attack on the world for the unfairness of the fact that he was going to die due to this programming. He wanted to begin with to reverse it when it became aware that that wasn't going to happen, and all of those he loved had all been killed by Harrison Ford or the actor himself, the character. Then there was only him left, and literally I found that moment where Rutger Hauer, that moment where he was aware of his own impending mortality, his own impending death, rushing towards him with a huge finality, that the way he reacted was absolutely amazing. And I suppose what I'm trying to say is, if any of us knew we were going to literally die in 10 minutes or half an hour, what would be the conversation that you would have with the person that you love the most, or the people you love the most? And that's, I suppose, with these nights where I feel really poorly and I'm unsure of how things are going to go, this is what I'm trying to sort of get off my chest, because all of my life I've considered myself a Christian, but really, what is a Christian? Really, truthfully, a footstep follower of Jesus Christ. As a Jehovah's Witness, we well know that we are supposed to very closely follow Jesus' footsteps, which literally means to be preaching the good news and talking to other people. In the last almost 2 years since COVID began, I've struggled with this, but I've struggled with almost everything, and sometimes I feel that I am not living up to what I should do, both as a Jehovah's Witness and as a Christian, to be honest. Am I fulfilling what Jesus and Jehovah God really do wish of me? Am I fulfilling what I should be doing, which is to preach the good news? I seem to be struggling. Now, I have hinted at it in this that there are forces at work, and there are. I mean, I believe that and know that, whereas there's a lot of people, like the people sitting on the other side of the fence, they know that such is a load of rubbish, even though they'll watch all of the movies and films, because that's just fiction. But is it? Why are you so interested in it? And why, on such a scale, all of those things which are occult? Why the intrinsic interest in all of these things, and the huge focus in our time of all these things are focusing on what is bad, not what is good? Now, I know the answer to this question, as I've already hinted, the forces at work in the world that you would laugh at and mock and think I'm silly for believing that there are such things as God and devil, good and evil. You'd think, oh, what a silly man for believing such a thing. Now, I know, just as the demons know that God exists and shudder because they know that one day they will die, likewise, in exactly the same way, I've always believed in God. My faith became concrete many, many years ago, and just like the demons, if I do nothing with that faith, and I do what Jesus said, which was to the coin that I get given, my faith, if I bury that in the ground and do nothing with it, then truly I would do no more than the demons. If I live my life for just myself and no longer live my life for my Lord and my God as an expression of my faith. Now, that doesn't mean to say there is no individuality. It never has been like that. It never has been about that either. Just seen something that makes me realise I haven't sprayed the field. Right, let's let the Argotron have its first little outing. Let's get this going. I need to repair it, also I need to fuel it. I didn't realise, I've not paid attention to. It's weird, we've not been on here for a few weeks. I don't know where everything is. Right, I need to repair. I'm not sure whether to put a fuel point. If I haven't already, I'm not sure if I have. I can't remember if I did or I didn't. No, I'm sure I put a toolbox down. Yes, I did. But I don't think I put a fuel point. Right, no, I didn't. There's no icon for it, so... fuel points, I do believe the nearest one is up at the proper garage, isn't it? Which is gas station. Oh, we're not that far away from the gas station, really, when you think about it. It's just straight across field 15. Right, in that case, what we shall do is we shall use the other one of those. We can send that on spraying. And we'll go and refuel that one ourselves. So yeah, mortality is really the point that I'm at, and as a Christian, wondering whether Jesus used a parable, and he said that it was possible for a Christian to lose all of their saltness, and then if they did lose all of their saltness, that all they were fit for was throwing outside to be destroyed. And that is an illustration, truthfully, that is quite hard hitting. It means you've sort of, without knowing, that there's another parable that Jesus used about the weeds, basically. Just set this going and then I'll carry on. 34. Do that. 80 meters is close enough. There are times I wonder, with all that's going on, if that is true of me, whether I have lost my saltness. I still very much, absolutely humongously love God. That's truly, in my eyes, not ever going to change, because it's a fundamental fact of life that I can't alter that fact. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm staying true to my faith and what I should be doing, and that's my worry, is that fact that I am not staying true to my faith and what I should be staying true to and doing what I should be doing. That's my worry, truthfully. I do still talk about do still talk about Christ and God to anybody that would listen. Truly, it's a Christian's prerogative that we should do that, even though people don't understand why we do that. The bottom line is, it is what God expects of us. So it is something that I do still find very, very important as a Christian that I've got to be doing. So I do my utmost to make this happen at any opportunity, to be truthful. But unlike most Jehovah's Witnesses, I haven't been writing the letters to people like they all have, which I've really struggled with it, and yet it's not something that whereabouts am I? Oh, if I had teeth it'd bite me. It's right behind me. Wow. Yeah, so I have truthfully struggled with this, and as I said, I am speaking to people. I do. That's not changed, and nor has my belief changed, where I'm not going to carry on doing this type of thing. That's not further from the truth. But I still sometimes feel like I'm not doing what I would like to do, not doing what I should be doing, and it hurts. Oh wow, I am really close actually. So yeah, this is the musings of someone who, there are times when I feel that on every level, both physically, spiritually, emotionally, I feel that I'm sort of almost like Walking Dead myself, that I'm not achieving I'm just going through the motions, truthfully, not actually achieving anything positive, and I feel a little bit, I'm getting there. It's just a complicated subject, and a little bit like Rutger Hauer did in that movie where, let me move out of the way, where you see your own mortality and you realise that life is more important. And as a Christian, one of your prime impulses and what motivated Jesus, other than to try and prove his love for his Father, who we call God, was to help other people. It's one of Jesus's prime motivations, is to talk to other people, to let them know that he died literally so that we might have everlasting life. It is one of the fundamental building blocks of being a Christian, and it to begin with, because we are all basically selfish, it isn't, to begin with, a very selfish motivation in the beginning. But truly, there are not many people in life like Martin Luther King or Mahatma Gandhi, or there's quite a few selfless people that you could go through, figurines throughout history that have put others before themselves. That is such a rare characteristic that it really... Jesus obviously is the first and the greatest example of this, and although people like to think that his miracles, that he didn't exist and all the rest of it, if you look to secular history, not the Bible itself, there are proper secular historians like Josephus the Jew that wrote books in that time that actually admitted, because if you were alive in a time and Jesus did do miracles, and you tried at that time to write a book that basically said that Jesus didn't do miracles, then everyone alive at that time would laugh at you, because they knew very well that whether they liked or hated Jesus, even the Pharisees who despised him and ultimately had Jesus killed, knew for a fact that Jesus did miracles through the power of God. That was indisputable. In fact, it was one of the things that really showed them that Jesus did come from God, but it made him dangerous to them. They were more interested in the power that they'd got than they were in God, and more about doing right. As Jesus said to them, you will do the will of your Father, and he was talking about Satan the devil. They were bad people. They had Jesus, the Son of God, killed, and they knew he was sent from God. The thing is that throughout history there are always 90% bad people, and well, even maybe 99% bad people and 1% good. And of the 1%, there's probably 1% of the 1% that's really good or selfless. Maybe even less than that, to be honest, truthfully. Almost all of us, and I definitely include myself in this, are not selfless. I class myself as selfish. I do my absolute utmost to reflect what the Bible would call the Holy Spirit, to try to put on the Christian personality, as the scripture said. It's a very real one. It's one that if you manage to exercise love, like say Martin Luther King or Mahatma Gandhi in their greatest moments in their life, or Jesus Christ, then truthfully you are reflecting God's Holy Spirit and the quality of love. And there are lots of qualities that are you can be a mirror, and the more you reflect those qualities, the more your mirror turns towards that light, to reflect that light, to use a symbology that's already been used in the Bible. So this is my musings, my trying to make sense of it all on what's happening to me, and like, is this just a phase, or I know what I feel. I know the love that I feel for God and for Christ, and I feel helpless. My body as well, it isn't age and infirmity have come to me. I mean, I'm only 52, to be honest, and like, there are times when my blood pressure is so high, and I can feel that. I feel lots of warnings that my body gives me. I feel a malaise that's a weakness. I have tummy troubles. I have all sorts. Those things go funny as well. And I think, and I say, these times that I wake up in the night and I think, is this it? Is this the time? When I, like Rutger Hauer, look at my mortality in the eyes and think, if I went now, am I happy with what I've achieved? Truly? Have I been the Christian that I set out to be when I was 18? When you've got those beautiful morals and you think you're going to achieve wonderful, massive things, which as you get older you realise the chips are against you. Really they are. And more raining a bit. If I did this very minute, if one of these moments is my last, I've got to be honest. No, I'm not happy. When I was younger, even when I was 30, I had such aspirations. As a Jehovah's Witness, I would have liked to have been a pioneer. I would have liked perhaps to be an elder, but in another way I wouldn't, because I see it a little bit like the Pharisees, if I'm honest, as a Jehovah's Witness. But yeah, I don't feel I have written letters that Jehovah God has said, please write to my... Well, no, there is no... He commanded me and I followed that command. I have done all of the things like that. But now I seem to have come to a point where I've just... I feel almost helpless and silent. Like I want to speak, but like someone's got hold of me and I can't speak. And it's so hard to put into words. I haven't given up, but I wonder sometimes, have I? Have I done that thing? Am I salt that's lost its saltness, truly? As Jesus said, am I about to be thrown out and destroyed because I just feel so helpless and so... you see, unlike a lot of people, I know what's coming. The Great Tribulation, the scriptures talk, the end, the culmination of this system of things. I don't fear it. I know what it is, and it's going to be terrifying and terrible. And unlike people of the world who are totally oblivious that this is going to happen, I'm not. I know this is going to happen. And I know I could die during that time. Truly. But I'm not afraid of that. That's not what frightens me. What frightens me is more failing God, not actually, and not doing the thing that I want to do, that Jesus is commanding me to do. I feel helpless and all that. It's hard to put into words, it really is. I feel an absolute abject failure, if I'm going to put it into absolute words. But I also, like the AI in Blade Runner,